Hey guys, one of the biggest problems I'm seeing poker players struggling with today is their inability to deal with the variance of the game. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Adam Carmichael. I'm a mindset and performance coach who works specifically with poker players to help them get that winner's edge at the tables. I work with poker players day in and day out, and I'm starting to see a lot of people struggling to deal with the variance of the game. Now, I was a player myself for a number of years, and I know how hard it can be at times. The money goes up, the money goes down, and it can be brutal to deal with the variance of the game, no matter what format you're playing. The problem is, if you don't learn to deal with the variance of the game, you're never going to be able to get the best out of yourself. What happens is you struggle to put in volume, you start to have self-doubt, your game starts to struggle, and so many things happen as a result of focusing on your short-term results. You need to realize that checking your results over and over, multiple times a day, multiple times a session, isn't helping you. When I work with players, I help them make that transition from being results-driven to process-driven. By process-driven, I mean only focused on your performance. Now, if you're like most people, you're probably thinking, okay, great, but how do you do that? Let me walk you through a highly effective system which will give you the solution. Step one is to stop checking your results so often. I know it's difficult, but it's a crucial step, and you've got to realize that checking them so often isn't helping you. If you're used to checking your results multiple times in a day, the first step for you is to only check them once per day, ideally at the end of a session. Once you've got that down, transition to twice per week, then ideally you'll end up checking them only once per week. Then I get the players I work with to rate their performance at the end of each session. I get them to rate their focus for the session out of 10. How well did they focus? Then they rate their decision making. How well did they make decisions during the session? Again, out of 10. Finally, they rate their tilt control, how well they stayed in control of their emotions during the session. These are three things that they monitor: their focus, decision making, and tilt control. These are three things that you can control every single session. When you get in the habit of monitoring these variables and start to focus on your performance as a poker player and not just your results, you start to get a true indication of how you're actually playing. Because let's be honest, your results don't really show you how you played that session. They could go up, they could go down, and they're pretty much meaningless over short samples. What most players do is they get lazy and they rely on checking their graphs and the results to show them how they've played. If the results have went up, they think they played good. If the results went down, they played bad. You need to focus more on the process and your actual performance. And the best three indicators I found for this are your focus, your decision making, and your tilt control. So start monitoring these things, stop checking your results so often, and start a transition to be more process driven, which is a way more useful way to rate your performance. You'll soon start to realize that you're not as affected by downswings. You'll start to think, oh, as long as my focus is high, my decision making is high, I can play through downswings. I can sit down and put in sessions even when the variance is going against me. I've had some big breakthroughs with players I'm working with who've been able to switch that mentality and realize that the short-term results don't matter, and they need to start focusing on the things that do matter that are going to move their performance forward. Hopefully you guys got some good value from this video. If you did, give it a like and tag your poker playing friends in the comments, and thanks for watching.